Welcome all. Myself Dr. Dinesh Navle. In today's video, we are going to be discuss about some basics of organic chemistry, in which we will see in detail about the reactive intermediate. That means what are the reactive intermediates, how the reactive intermediates are going to be formed during the reaction, and how reactive intermediates are going to be stabilized by the different factors. So that we are going to be see. Now, if we will see the reaction intermediates, some of the organic reactions are going to be carried out in a single step. So those reactions are going to be carried out by a single step, normally going to be does not involve any reactive intermediate. But for multi-step reaction, a reactive intermediate is going to be formed into the reaction. And what are the different reactive intermediates? So these different reactive intermediates are carbocations, carbanions, carbenes, free radical, nitrine, as well as the nitrinium ion. So these are the 6 different type of intermediates are normally observed whenever there is a multi-steps reactions are going to be carried out. So out of all these intermediate, in this video we are going to be see primarily about the reactive intermediates of carbocation, carbanion and free radical, in which we are going to be see that what are the types of the intermediate, like how carbocations are going to be called as a primary, secondary, tertiary, allyl, benzyl. We are also going to be see about their shapes, their stability, as well as the different factors which are going to be responsible for the stability of reactive intermediates. So these 3 reactive intermediates we are going to be see, normally the carbocations, carbanions and free radical. Now, as we have already mentioned that reaction mechanism. So whenever reaction is going to be happen, like it is a conversion of starting material A into product B. So this is a single step reaction which is going to be having the concerted reaction. So for concerted reaction, product A will be directly converted into the product B, will be directly formed from the reactant A. But in case of the second reaction, where reactant A will be first converted into intermediate, and then that intermediate will be converted into the product B. All these reactions are the stepwise reactions. So bond making and bond breaking are the important steps into any organic reaction mechanism. So a reaction mechanism is a detailed description of how bonds are going to be break, as well as how bonds are going to be formed when your starting material will be converted into the product. So reaction can occur either by the one step mechanism like concerted reaction, or it can be a series of steps like the stepwise reaction. So one step reaction is a concerted reaction. For this reaction, no intermediates are going to be involved. But for the multi-steps reaction or the stepwise reaction, the intermediates are going to be involved. That means reactant A will convert into the reactive intermediate, and in a second step reactive intermediate will be converted into the product B. So how these bonds are going to be break? So depends upon the way the bonds are going to be break in any organic reaction by the 2 different ways, which are either by the bonded electrons are going to be shared equally by both the atoms, or bonded electrons are going to be shared unequally by both the atoms which are going to be contain the covalent bond. So if breaking of the bond is going to be takes place in such a way that the bond is going to be break with both the electrons between the 2 atoms in the bond will be shared by both the atoms equally. That means each atom will contain 1 electron, and such type of the breaking will be called as the homolysis or the homolytic cleavage. So during homolysis or the homolytic cleavage, a reactive intermediate is going to be formed, and that reactive intermediate is termed as the free radical. That means this is the A and B bond is there. A covalent bond which is going to be contain 2 electrons will be shared by equally formed by A as well as the B, and we are going to get formation of each atom get 1 electron. Such type of the bond cleavage is going to be described as the homolysis or homolytic cleavage. So second way of breaking of the bond. So during the second way of the breaking of the bond, the shared pair electron between A and B will be shared unequally by the both the atom. That means either electrons will be shared by A or electrons can be shared by B. So there are the two possible ways. When both the electrons of this covalent bond will be shared by A, it will be contain the A minus, and the charge left on B will be the B plus. And if both the electrons will be shared by the B, it will form as a B minus and charge left on the A. And when there is an unequal distribution of the electrons, this breaking is termed as the heterolysis or heterolytic cleavage. That means during the heterolysis there is a formation of the ionic spaces. The ionic spaces are like A plus or the B minus, or it can be the A minus and the B plus. So that means heterolytic cleavage is responsible for generation of the charge intermediates. So we have seen two ways are there for breaking of the bond. First will be the homolytic cleavage, which is also called the homolysis, which is responsible for the generation of the free radical intermediate. Whereas in case of the heterolytic cleavage or heterolysis, it will generate the charge intermediates. It may be the carbocation or the carbanion. So this is the one of the example. A and B, the covalent bond between A and B is represented by the two electron. During heterolytic cleavage, both the electrons will be shared by unequally. That means B is going to be shared both the electron. It will form as the B minus, and charge left on the A will be the A plus. And in second case, if both the electrons will be shared by A will be formed as A minus, and the charge left on the B will be the B plus. And that positively charged and negatively charged species is termed as the carbocations and the carbanions respectively. That means positively charged ion is called as the carbocation and negatively charged ion is called as the carbanion. So that means heterolytic cleavage is responsible for the generation of carbocation as well as the carbanions. During homolytic cleavage, the covalent bonded electrons shared by both A and B equally. So one electron will be go on to the A and another electron will go on to the B. That means both are going to be contain one unpaired electron, and it will give the generation of the free radical. That means homolytic cleavage or homolysis is responsible for the generation of the free radical type of the intermediate. So reaction intermediate. So this is one of the representative example for the generation of carbocation. During heterolysis or heterolytic cleavage, both the electrons of the carbon Z bond will be shared by Z. So it will be formed as the Z minus. So this is the Z minus, and the charge left on the carbon will be the plus. And if it is going to be having both electron will be shared by the carbon, it will having the negative charge on the carbon. So that means this is going to be break by the fully headed arrow. That means it is a transfer of the two electron to any of the bonded atoms. So that means heterolytic cleavage or heterolysis will generate the carbocation or the carbanion as the intermediate, and these intermediates are charge species. They are the unstable intermediate. A carbocation contain a carbon surrounded by only 6 electron, and the carbanion has a negatively charged on the carbon. So carbocation will be having the 6 electron, whereas the carbanion will be having the negative charge on the carbon. So this is a homolytic cleavage. So during homolytic cleavage or homolysis, a carbon Z bond is going to be break in such a way that a bonded electron between carbon and Z atom will be break by the homolysis. So one atom each will carry or share one electron. So it will form as the C radical as well as the Z radical. That means homolysis or homolytic cleavage is responsible for the generation of the free radical intermediates. So reaction intermediate, this is one of the example like methyl chloride. Chlorine is more electronegative, so chlorine will share the bonded electron from the C and Cl bond. It will form the chloride ion, and the charge left on the carbon will be the plus, and the carbon which is going to be contain the positive charge is termed as the carbocations. If it is by the another way, the carbon hydrogen covalent bond will be break in such a way that both the bonded electron will be shared by the carbon, so it will form as this carbon with negative charge and proton. So carbon with negative charge will be termed as the carbanion. And if both the electrons of this carbon chlorine bond will be shared by each, carbon will share one electron and chlorine will share one electron. So in that case it will be called as what? Carbon radical. So that means heterolytic cleavage will give the formation of the carbocation as well as the carbanion as the intermediate, whereas homolytic cleavage will give the formation of the free radical intermediate. So if you are going to be see that in general intermediates are unstable but can be stabilized by the delocalization of the electron density. So we are going to be see all the intermediates one by one. So first intermediate that we are going to be see, which is the carbocations. So as discussed in some of the previous slide, carbocations are the intermediate which are going to be formed by the heterolytic cleavage or the heterolysis, when the covalent bonded electron of the carbon and Z bond will be break by the heterolytic cleavage. Both the bonded electron will be shared by Z. So the charge left on the carbon will be the plus. So it is going to be the formation of carbon with positive charge intermediate, and which is termed as the carbocation. And the heterolytic cleavage are going to be formed by the fully headed arrow is going to be utilized. So carbocation is an ion with a positively charged carbon atom. In this example we can easily see that a carbocation are the ion with the positively charged carbon atom. Now a chemical species bearing a positive charge on the carbon and carrying a 6 electron in its valence shell are called as the carbocations, or they are also called as the carbanium ions. So they are the positively charged species carrying the 6 electron in the valence shell, termed as the carbocations or the carbanium ions. So by heterolytic cleavage of the covalent bond is going to be responsible for the generation of the carbocation intermediate. So we will see the structure of the carbocation. So the carbocation which is having 3 bonds and 1 positive charge will be there. So it will be having the trigonal planar geometry, which is a positively charged species, and hybridization will be, if it is a trigonal planar geometry, the hybridization will be the sp2 and the bond angle will be the 120. So that means the tertiary butyl carbocation, we have given the example, this is a carbon, 3 bonds are there with 1 positive charge, and this is a empty p orbital. So that's why tertiary butyl carbocation will be having the planar geometry like the trigonal planar geometry, or which is having the sp2 hybridization, as well as the bond angle will be the 120. And the carbocation contains a carbon surrounded by only 6 electrons, 2 electrons from this bond, 2 electrons from this another bond, and 2 electrons from this remaining carbon-carbon bond. So total 6 electrons are there around the carbocation. So this is the tertiary butyl carbocation structure, second one, whereas this is the methyl carbocation. Now the carbocation structure that we have already seen into the last slide also, which is the sp2 hybridized carbon atom. If it is sp2 hybridized carbon atom, geometry will be the planar, and if it is sp2 hybridization, that's a bond angle between this carbon-carbon will be the 120 degree. And this orbital we have shown by the lobes, which is the MTP orbital. So this is the structural representation of the carbocations. If you are going to be see the stability of the carbocations, so there are the different type of the carbocations like primary carbocation, secondary carbocation, tertiary carbocation, benzyl carbocation, allyl carbocation. So we are going to be discuss out of all these possible carbocation, which is the stable carbocation and which is the unstable carbocation. Now the stability of the carbocations is going to be follow the following order. So if you are going to be see that tertiary carbocations are more stable than secondary carbocation, than primary carbocation, and then the methyl cation. So that means tertiary carbocations is more stable and methyl carbocations are the least stable carbocations among all these 4 carbocations. So if you are going to be see that This order of stability can be easily explained on the basis of the following factors. So which factors are going to be there? It can be easily explained by inductive effect, resonance effect, as well as the hyperconjugation effect. That means the stability of the carbocation can be easily explained by using the three different factors, which are the inductive effect, resonance effect, and the hyperconjugation effect. So we are going to be see one by one each effect, how they are going to be contribute for the stability of the carbocations. So first will be the inductive effect. So in inductive effect, we are going to be observe, this is the tertiary carbocation. Second structure will be the secondary carbocation. Third will be the primary carbocation, and last will be the methyl carbocation. Now if you are going to be see that tertiary carbocation has been surrounded by 3 alkyl groups, secondary carbocations will be surrounded by 2 alkyl groups, whereas the primary carbocation will be surrounded by 1 alkyl groups, whereas methyl carbocation does not contain any alkyl group. That means this alkyl group, so these alkyl groups having the capacity of to show the plus I inductive effect, that means electron donating inductive effect. So we know that a plus I effect, that is electron donating inductive effect, is responsible for the donation of electron and which are going to be make the stability of the carbocation. So plus I effect, by donating the electron to the electron deficient carbocation, gives the stability to the carbocation. So if plus I effect increases the stability, there are in tertiary carbocation there are 3 methyl group which exhibit the plus I effect, whereas in secondary only 2 methyl groups are there, whereas in primary there is only 1 methyl group. So more is the alkyl groups attached, more will be the plus I effect, and if more will be the plus I effect, more will be the stability of the corresponding carbocation. So that's why by the inductive effect, especially by the electron donating inductive effect, plus I effect, the tertiary carbocation will be more stable than secondary carbocation, than primary carbocation, than methyl carbocation, because primary carbocation does not contain any plus I effect, whereas tertiary carbocation contain 3 times plus I effect by 3 alkyl group, making it more stable carbocation among all these 4 carbocations. So more the number of alkyl group attached, more will be the plus I effect, and more will be the plus I effect, more will be the stability of the carbocation. So thus stability of the carbocation follows the order of tertiary carbocation will be more stable than secondary, than primary, than methyl carbocation. So this is also the same example. We have tertiary carbocation, secondary carbocation, primary carbocation, in which there is a 3 methyl group, so 3 times plus I effect. 2 methyl group into the secondary carbocation, so only 2 times plus I effect, whereas in primary carbocation only 1 alkyl group is there, which is a methyl, so only 1 plus I effect will be there, as plus I effect is responsible for increasing the stability of the carbocation. So due to the more plus I effect, tertiary carbocation will be more stable than secondary, than primary. So by inductive effect we can easily decide the stability of the carbocation. So another type of the carbocations are there, which is the allyl carbocation as well as the benzyl carbocation. So if you are going to be see the allyl carbocation is going to be exhibit, allyl carbocations means what? It is the carbocation next to the double bond. So that means it is the resonance possibility is there, whereas in case of the benzyl carbocation there is also the possibility. So that means a carbocation in which positively charged carbon atom is attached to a double bond or a benzene ring are easily stabilized by a factor or the effect. This is called as a resonance effect. That means a resonance effect is going to be stabilized the allyl carbocation as well as the benzyl carbocation. So if you'll see this example, this is the triphenyl carbocation, second is the diphenyl carbocation, and third will be the benzyl carbocation. But in case of the triphenyl carbocation, 3 phenyl rings are there. So 3 phenyl ring will be contribute for the resonance, whereas in case of the diphenyl carbocation, only 2 benzyl ring or the phenyl ring will contribute for the resonance, whereas in benzyl carbocation only one phenyl ring will contribute for the resonance structure. So there are more resonating structures are possible into the triphenyl carbocation because of the 3 phenyl groups attached, making more resonating structure. So the stability of the carbocation is going to be increases by the resonance effect. So that means more is the number of phenyl group, more is the resonating structure. As more will be the resonating structure, more will be the stability of the carbocation. That's why tertiary carbocations will be more stable than secondary than primary, or indirectly we can say that triphenyl carbocation will be more stable than diphenyl carbocation than the benzyl carbocation. So these are the simple alkyl cations. We are going to be easily observe tertiary carbocation, secondary is there, primary is there, methyl is there, which can easily explain by using the plus psi effect. And for the resonance, we can easily see benzyl carbocation, that means the carbocation which is next to the benzene ring, which is a benzyl, which can be easily stabilized by the aromatic ring. So there are the 4 aromatic resonating structures are possible. So if there is a resonance is possible, making benzyl carbocations as the stable carbocation. So in case of the benzyl cation, allyl cation and phenyl cation, benzyl cation is going to be show the 4 resonating structure, whereas the allyl cation show only 1 resonating structure. In case of the phenyl cation, there is no any resonating structure there, and we are already aware more will be the resonating structure, more will be the stability of that compound, and then indirectly more will be the stability of the carbocation. So that's why due to the more resonating structure in benzyl cation will be more stable than allyl cation, and whereas there is no resonating structures are possible for phenyl cation, that's why phenyl cations are the least stable carbocation among these 3 carbocations. Now stability of carbocations we already seen for the allylic carbocations. So allyl cations and benzyl cations are more stable than other carbocations. So this is allyl cation which can easily stabilize by the resonance. Benzyl cation which can also stabilize by the resonance, but in case of the benzyl there are the 4 resonating structure. In case of the allyl only 2 resonating structures are possible. So that's why due to the more resonating structure of the allyl cation, instead of the, we can say that more resonating structures are possible in benzyl cation than the allyl cation. So that's why benzyl carbocation will be more stable than the allyl carbocation. Now the second factor we are going to be see that, which is the hyperconjugation. How hyperconjugations are going to be responsible for the stability of the carbocation. If you are going to be see the hyperconjugation, this is the tertiary butyl carbocation, and hyperconjugation can be shown by a CH bond, which is also called the no bond resonance, or which is also called the sigma bond resonance. In case of the tertiary carbocation, this carbocation has been surrounded or the substituted by the 3 alkyl group. So there is a possibility of 9 different hydrogens are there. So if there are 9 different hydrogens are possible, the tertiary butyl carbocation can show 9 hyperconjugation structure. One of the structure we are going to be represented here like this. This CH3 can show the hyperconjugation. So one structure is there. We can show the another representative structure from this methyl group, which we have written here. From third methyl group also we can written here. So there are total 3, 6, 9 hydrogens are there. That means a tertiary butyl carbocation can show 9 hyperconjugative structure. That means a tertiary carbocations can be easily stabilized by the hyperconjugation effect. Whereas in case of the secondary carbocation, there are only 2 alkyl groups, so there is a possibility of maximum 6 resonating structure. Whereas in case of the primary carbocation, if it is a ethyl carbocation, only 3 hyperconjugation structures are possible. So that's why more will be the hyperconjugation structures are possible, more will be the stability of the carbocation. So we can easily say that tertiary carbocation, which are going to be containing possible of the 9 hyperconjugation structure, will be more stable than secondary than primary. So this is one of the representative example. This is the tertiary butyl carbocation. This is a secondary carbocation. This is a primary carbocation, methyl carbocation. Tertiary carbocation surrounded by 9 hydrogen atoms, CH bond. So 9 hyperconjugation structures are possible. Whereas in case of the secondary carbocation, 6 hydrogens are going to be surrounded. So there is a 6 CH bonds are there. So 6 hyperconjugation structures are possible. Whereas in case of the primary carbocation, only 3 CH bonds are there. So 3 hyperconjugation structures are possible. But in case of the methyl carbocation, no CH bond is there next to the carbocation, so it is not going to be show any hyperconjugation structure. And we can easily say that 9 hyperconjugation structure for tertiary carbocation, 6 hyperconjugation structure for secondary carbocation, 3 hyperconjugation structure for primary carbocation, and no hyperconjugation structure for methyl carbocation. So more is the hyperconjugative structure, more is the stability of the carbocation. So tertiary carbocations are more stable than secondary carbocation, than primary carbocation, than methyl carbocation. So the stability of the various carbocations is like this. Triphenyl carbocation will be more stable than diphenyl carbocation, then tertiary butyl carbocation, then benzyl carbocation. So all the carbocations has been shown here with their increasing order of the stability. There, which we can easily say that 3 factors which can easily contribute for the stability of the carbocation. First is the inductive effect, second will be the hyperconjugation effect, and third will be the resonance effect. Now we are going to be see the importance of the carbanion as a second intermediate. So if you are going to be see that carbanions, a carbanion is an the anion. The name itself indicated a carba anion, that is the negative charge containing carbon atom. So carbanion is an anion in which carbon has an unshared pair of the electrons and bears a negative charge, usually with 3 substituents for a total of 8 valency electrons. So 3 substituent, 6 electron, and 1 negative charge, 2 electrons. So total 8 electrons are there. A simple definition of the carbon is what? It is a carbon atom which is going to be contain the negative charge will be called as the carbanion. So formally a carbanion is the conjugate base of the carbon acid. So this is our compound will be there, which is going to be lost the proton. After loss of the proton, the carbon is going to be contain the negative charge and it will be termed as a carbanion. So chemical species bearing a negative charge on the carbon and possessing the 8 electron in its valency shell are called as the carbanions. So how the carbanions are going to be generated? So if you are going to be see that heterolysis or heterolytic cleavage. So this is the example. If we'll see there is a carbon and Z bond is there, fully headed arrow, that means both the electrons are going to be migrated toward the carbon, will be shared by the carbon. Z will be formed as the Z plus and the charge on the carbon will be as the minus. So that means, so it is a carbon atom which is going to be contain the negative charge will be called as a carbanion. So heterolytic cleavage or heterolysis will be responsible for the generation of the carbanion, and this is the ionic intermediate. So what is the structure of the carbanion? So basically carbanion is a negatively charged species. So if we will take the methyl carbanion, which is a carbon atom containing the 3 hydrogen bonds and negative charge. So the shape will be preferably the pyramidal. Hybridization will be the sp3 hybridization. If it is the pyramidal and the sp3 hybridization, bond angle expected will be the 109 degree and 28 minutes. It has total 8 electron, 6 electron from the 3 CH bond and 2 electron from the 1 negatively charged. So total 8 electrons are there, and stabilized can be easily by the resonance or the inductive effect. So in basically carbanions are the carbon atom containing negative charge. They are the total 8 electrons are there onto the carbon. They are the sp2 hybridized they are the sp3 hybridized carbon atom having the geometry of the pyramidal nature, and the bond angle will be the 109 degree 28 minute. So this v orbital structure will be there. So this is a carbon atom. Tertiary butyl carbanion is there. 3 bonds are there. One will be contained as the negative charge, which is a lone pair. So it is a sp3 hybridized carbon, which is the sp3 hybridized carbon atom. So the structure of the simple alkyl carbanion is usually the pyramidal, just like the structure of the ammonia or the amine. So the carbon atom carrying the negative charge is sp3 hybridized, as mentioned into the diagram. 3 of the 4 sp3 hybridized orbital from the sigma bonds, and the monovalent atom or the groups of the 4th orbital contain the lone pair of the electron. So the carbanion which are stable by the resonance are planar. In these carbanions, the carbon atom carrying the negative charge is sp3 hybridized. So whereas tertiary butyl carbanion is pyramidal, allyl carbanion is planar. So this is the orbital structure of the carbanion. sp3 hybridized carbon atom is there. Pyramidal geometry. Bond angle will be 109.35 degree. So how the carbanions are going to be stabilized? There are different factors which are responsible for contribution for the stability of the carbanion. First will be the inductive effect. So if we'll see the inductive effect, the stability of simple alkyl carbanion will be follow this order. That means a methyl carbanion will be more stable than primary carbanion, then secondary carbanion, then tertiary carbanion. So this is the stability order for the carbanion. So how it is going to be decided? So inductive effect. So we have these 3 carbanion. So this is the methyl carbanion, primary carbanion, secondary carbanion, tertiary carbanion. In tertiary carbanion, 3 alkyl groups are there. So 3 alkyl group will show the 3 times plus I effect, which is the inductive effect, electron donating inductive effect. Whereas 2 alkyl group in secondary carbanion will show the 2 times plus I effect. In methyl carbanion, there is no any inductive effect is there. Primary carbanion, only 1 alkyl group is there, so 1 time plus I effect is there. And as carbanion is already a negatively charged species, methyl group will also donate the electron, making this carbanion as a unstable. More will be the attached alkyl group will be there, more will be the plus I effect, and less will be the stability for that corresponding carbanion. So indirectly we can say that a plus I effect or electron donating inductive effect is responsible for decreasing the stability of the carbanion. So that's why methyl carbanion, which does not contain any electron donating inductive effect, is more stable than the tertiary carbanion. So second one is a resonance effect. So if you'll see that allyl carbanion and benzyl carbanion, so both allyl and benzyl carbanions can be easily stabilized by the resonance. So this is the structure for the allyl carbanion, so in which it can be easily stabilized by the resonance. So these are the structure for benzyl carbanion, where negative charge can be easily stabilized by the aromatic ring like the phenyl ring. So means resonance effect are responsible for the stability of the carbanion. So that's why allyl carbanion and benzyl carbanions are more stable than the other carbanions. So third factor which decide the stability of the carbanion is the S character, percentage of S character. So if you have this example, stability of the carbanion increases with increase in S character of the compound or the carbon atom. So as S character increases, stability of the carbon is going to be increases. So this is the sp3 hybridization, this is sp2 hybridization, and this is sp hybridization. So as in sp hybridization, percentage of S character will be 50%, whereas in sp2 hybridization, percentage of S character will be the 33%, whereas in sp3 hybridization, percentage of S character will be the 25%, And as we have mentioned above, that more will be the s character, more will be the electronegativity, and more will be the stability of the carbon. So due to the more s character, that allyl this carbanion will be more stable than the corresponding. Factors affecting the stability of the carbon, as we have discussed, it is the inductive effect, it can be the hybridization, so sp3 hybridization, sp2 hybridization, as well as the conjugation, resonance effect. So three factors are there, like inductive effect, hybridization, as well as the resonance can be responsible for the stability of the carbanion. So it's a simple alkyl carbanion. Three alkyl groups are there, 3 times plus I effect. This is methyl carbanion, no plus I effect, so that's why it is most stable carbanion. And tertiary carbanion, which is containing 3 times plus I effect, will be the less stable carbanion. So that's why methyl carbanion will be more stable than the secondary carbanion, than the tertiary carbanion. Resonance effect can contribute for the stability of the benzyl carbanion. So by the resonance, this negative charge can be easily stabilized into the ring, so it is going to be give the stability to the benzyl carbanion. So by inductive effect, as we have discussed, tertiary carbanion, more plus I effect, will be less stable. Primary carbanion, less plus I effect, will be more stable. So more is the plus I effect, less will be the stability of the carbanion. So that's why primary will be more stable than secondary, than tertiary in case of the stability of the carbanion. So electron withdrawing group can be responsible for carbanion, while electron donating group destabilizes the carbanion by donating the electron, whereas electron withdrawing group stabilizes the carbanion by electron withdrawing group. So if you'll see, this is the 4-nitrotoluene and the 4-methoxytoluene. So if we'll form the carbanion of this first compound 4-nitrotoluene, we will get this one 4-nitrobenzyl carbanion and 4-methoxybenzyl carbanion. So in which nitro group is electron withdrawing. So by resonance, this negative charge can be easily stabilized by the benzene ring as well as the nitro group, whereas in case of the 4-methoxybenzyl carbanion, a negative charge can be destabilized by the electron donating resonance effect. So that's why electron withdrawing group will be responsible for stability of the carbanion by withdrawing the electrons. The next intermediate that we are going to be discuss will be the free radical intermediate. So a free radical is defined as a species that contain one or more unpaired electron. So if we will see, there is a carbon and Z covalent bond is there, which is going to be break in such a way that both carbon as well as the Z will share one electron each. So it is going to be described by the half faded arrow is used, or the Fishhook arrow. So this is called the homolysis or the homolytic cleavage. So by homolytic cleavage, both carbon and Z will share one electron each, will give the formation of the carbon with one radical, which is called as the free radical. So that means a free radical can be generated by homolysis or the homolytic cleavage. So if we'll see the example, the bond between A and B will be break by homolysis, will give the formation of A radical and B radical, because both A and B will share one electron each. And if we'll see the structure of the free radical, so free radical can have the two different structure, depends upon the geometry as well as the nature of the things. So it will be like the planar structure in which there is one electron will be there, will be the p orbital. It will be also having the pyramidal geometry. So whether it is planar or the pyramidal, both geometries can be possible for the free radical. When it will be the planar geometry, it will be the sp2 hybridization with bond angle will be 120. When it will be the pyramidal geometry, it will be the sp3 hybridization with 109 degree will be the angle. So this is one of the best possible orbital structure in case of the sp2 hybridization. So we can easily see carbon, which is going to be contain the 3 bonds and one free radical, which will be in the p orbital, which is going to be contain unpaired electron, and this will be contain the sp2 hybridization. If it is sp2 hybridization, obviously the bond angle will be the 120 degree, and the geometry will be the planar geometry. So it will be in the case of the tertiary butyl free radical. So alkyl free radical like carbocations are planar chemical species. So like the carbocations, alkyl free radicals are also the planar, like the we can mention it as the trigonal planar nature. The only difference between these two is that carbocation contain empty p orbital, whereas free radical contain p orbital, which is going to be contain one free radical, which is an odd electron. So if we'll see the stability of the free radical, so order of stability of the free radical will be like tertiary free radical will be more stable than secondary free radical, then primary free radical, then the methyl free radical. And if you are going to be see that it is the unhybridized orbital odd electron, it is also the sp2 hybridized carbon atom, 120 bond angle will be there. So how we are going to be decide the stability of the free radical? So before going for the stability of the free radical, let's see some of the structure. It will be the planar or pyramidal. It has total 7 electron, and stability order will be the tertiary will be more than secondary, than primary, than methyl. And stability can be easily explained by the two important factors, which are nothing but the resonance or by the inductive effect. So hyperconjugation is also the another factor which decides the stability of the free radical. So this is a methyl radical, this is a primary radical, secondary radical, tertiary radical. In case of the tertiary radical, there are 9 carbon hydrogen bond next to the free radical. So all 9 carbon hydrogen bond can show the 9 hyperconjugation structure, like in carbocation also shows tertiary carbocation. Whereas in secondary free radical, there are only 6 hydrogen bonds are there, CH bonds are there next to the free radical. So it will show the 6 hyperconjugation structure. Whereas in primary free radical, it will show the 3 CH bonds. So that's why there is a 3 hyperconjugation structure. Whereas methyl radical does not exhibit any hyperconjugation structure, and as we can easily say, more will be the hyperconjugative structure, more will be the stability of that compound. So that's why tertiary free radical, which is having the 9 hyperconjugation structure, will be more stable than the secondary free radical, than the primary free radical, than the methyl free radical. So hyperconjugation is one of the important factor or the criteria which decide the stability of the free radical. The second factor which we can see that, which is the resonance effect. So resonance effect is also having the very important role deciding the stability of the free radical. If we will see the benzyl radical, which can easily show the resonance. So benzyl radical, while resonance will be having 4 resonating structure, whereas allyl radical can show only 1 resonating structure. So that means more will be the resonating structure, more will be the stability of the compound. So we can say that more will be the stability of the free radical. So that's why due to the more resonating structure for benzyl free radical, it will be more stable than the allyl free radical. So the same example, we can easily say that stability of the tertiary will be more than secondary, than primary, than methyl free radical. So it is a stability of free radical in case of allyl free radical, it is a benzyl free radical. Allyl free radical can show only 2 resonating structure, or 1 we can say. So in benzyl free radical there are total 4 resonating structure, and more will be the resonating structure, more will be the stability. So that's why benzyl free radical will be more stable than allylic, than tertiary, than secondary, than primary. So this effect can be easily explained by the we can say that hyperconjugation can easily explain this effect also. Tertiary will be more stable than secondary, than primary, than methyl free radical. This is again benzyl free radical stability can be easily explained by using the resonance, because benzyl free radical will be having more resonating structure than the allyl. So resonance structure will be responsible for the stability of the benzyl free radical. So these are some of the reactive intermediate we have seen, like carbocation, free radical, carbanion. In case of the carbocation, benzyl will be more stable than tertiary, then secondary, then primary, then methyl, which can be easily explained by using the inductive effect, resonance effect, as well as the hyperconjugation. Whereas in case of the free radical also, benzylic free radical will be more stable than tertiary, then secondary, then primary, then methyl free radical. So free radical stability can also be explained easily by the hyperconjugation or the resonance effect. Whereas in case of the carbanion, primary free radical or methyl free radical will be more stable than primary, then secondary, then tertiary free radical. And as we already seen during this video, we have seen what are the reactive intermediate, how the reactive intermediates are going to be formed, what are the different type of the reactive intermediates. So there are three different intermediate which we have seen during this video, which are the carbocation, carbanion, free radical, out of which we have seen how the homolytic and heterolytic cleavage is responsible for generation of different free radical, as well as the carbocation, as well as the carbanion. So we have also seen what are the orbital geometry, structure, hybridization, bond angle of the carbocation, carbanion and free radical, how they are going to be generated, as well as we have seen different factors which are going to be contributed for the stability of the free radical. The factors which we have discussed for the stability of the free radical, carbocation as well as the carbanions are the hyperconjugation, resonance, inductive effect, percentage of S character and some other factors also. So if you like the content of this video, you can share this video, you can subscribe also my YouTube channel. Thank you.